So you had quite the journey just to even get to this position that you're at. Can you kind of take us through from high school to where you are now? You've had a lot of injuries, just that whole process, what kind of happened and what led you to Tech?
So out of high school, I was recruited to the University of Arizona, and then my senior year, I had full ACL reconstructive surgery. And then my freshman year, I had to medically redshirt. So then I also had to have shoulder surgery. And then sophomore year was COVID, so that was a really challenging year for all of us, out due to quarantine numerous times. And then by the time junior season rolled around, just the injuries kind of became too much, and volleyball just seemed like it wasn't in the cards for me anymore, so I ended up medically retiring and took a year off from volleyball. And then I decided in May that I wanted to enter the transfer portal, and that's when Tony reached out to me and offered me this opportunity to come and be a Red Raider.
So what kind of led you, what'd you do in that kind of year off that did it kind of help clear your mind, make you kind of see things from a different perspective?
I coached. My little sisters, one's in high school now, one's in middle school, so I helped with their middle school teams and started just practicing for fun with my old club team, and was able to kind of fall back in love with the sport of volleyball.
So what's it been like since you decided, okay, I'm back, now you're here? What has that transition been like to jump back in?
Honestly, it's been really smooth. I've been having so much fun here, and it was pretty seamless transition, to be honest. The difference between, just outside of Los Angeles and Lubbock has been kind of a drastic change, but I've made a lot of friends, and I've just been having so much fun with this team and my teammates and the coaching staff, so it's been really great.
Sorry, why specifically did you choose Texas Tech?
A few reasons. I came on my visit, and the second time around in the recruiting process, my mom and I knew exactly what questions to ask and exactly what I was looking for. And everyone that we spoke to was super, super happy with the program, with the city, with just being in Lubbock in general. And I felt super comfortable as soon as I got here, and it just felt like home. And I'm so happy that I'm here because this is the happiest I've been in a long time.
How do you think your perspective on volleyball has changed since, I guess, you first went to college and then the medical redshirt and to now?
I will say, going into college, I had this expectation of being, this really big fish, because that's just how it was in high school. And so having gone through those various injuries and kind of having to redevelop my role on the team, I gained a different perspective of volleyball. And now it's more so playing, obviously, to win and to get better every single day. But, I'm grateful for every day that I have, because I know what it was like to be out for months and months. And so I'm really just trying to keep my body healthy and just enjoy every day that I can and just have fun working hard every single day.
So outside of the volleyball aspect, going through all that to be where you are now, what's kind of changed for you personally, just kind of yourself, your mentality, your mindset, that sort of thing?
Well, of course, education is a really big thing for me, and so this time around, that was more of my focus, rather than trying to be a starter or trying to be this all Big 12 conference player. Of course, that's still the end goal, but I think just being accepting of whatever role that I have on this team and just being the best teammate that I can be regardless of the circumstances, that's really my main goal, and to just focus on what's important rather than just the wins and the losses, but overall just my academics as well as just being the best team player that I can be.
Anything else for Simone? All right, thanks.
Perfect.
All right, questions for Coach Kristen?
Well, since we talked to Simone, you kind of brought her up before the season, just kind of the process she's gone through just to get to this point. What have you seen from her since she's gotten on campus?
Well, you saw it for yourself. Incredibly mature. She's got perspective. She's been on a wild ride, and you have a player that she was a top 75 recruit coming out of high school, and I think there were some expectations, and injuries just got in the way, and COVID, the whole thing. And so we talk about transfers and that second chance and how they want to rebuild themselves and where their perspective is, and she embodies all of that. So, her game is still getting there, and the training piece, but she works incredibly hard, really receptive to feedback. And when she gets her opportunities, you can see when, she's excited, when she's frustrated, when she's confident. She's really easy to work with and easy to read. And so she's kind of like our whole team in one player, because we know that the best is still ahead of her, and we're happy that we've got 2 seasons with her. But we can see her in the gym starting to figure things out, and her vision has never been a problem. She can see the game at the right level, at the right speed. It's just getting her body to cooperate and execute the right way. And as she starts to do that more and more often, her role is going to continue to grow. But just for her maturity and just the level of teammate she is, what she brings every day, we're thrilled to have her.
When you started recruiting her, obviously you're looking at the talent aspect of it, but how much of it, especially specifically for her, is making sure her mental's right, her head's there, that she can go through this again?
Yeah, these are questions that we talk with all of our transfers about, when we're going through that process, because they all have something that led them to go into the portal. And sometimes it's more about role and playing time. Someone like Emily Merrick, she just wanted to be on the court more often. And then you have someone like Simone that she's just been beat up for 4 years, and here she is still standing and wanting to fight again. And so that's a different conversation, just to make sure that their mind is right and they're ready for that grind again. And in her case, absolutely. So, she checked all those boxes. And then the talent, I mean, my goodness, this is a 10-7 jumper, and, she's way up there. And there's so many parts of her game that you look at and you say, yeah, we get why you were so chased after it coming out of high school. And so let's get back to that.
What things do you think she can really help with regards to leadership, just all that she's gone through, even when you compare it to other fifth-year seniors?
Yeah, she knows what a setback really is. She knows what true adversity is. She knows what it's like to have something taken away and then have to build it back up and fight for it again. And she also knows, like she was saying, her first time around, the things obviously that as a high school player that she was looking for in the recruiting process are so much different than she was as a grad transfer. And so that perspective is really, really important. And when you start working with younger teammates and seeing what they get caught up in, or where their mind gets sometimes, for her to look at it and say, hey, let's get away from that and let's get to this. And so, but then she's got this great personality and this smile all the time, and she's always in a good mood and upbeat, and she really works well with everybody. So it's hard for a fifth year to sometimes be relatable to a true freshman, but in her case, she's nailed it.
To kind of transition to last week against TCU, the sweep, and then trying to come back to make that reverse sweep again. Just what do you guys think happened on Friday that allowed you guys to almost pull off that comeback?
Well, that's a great question, because it was like a light had been flipped, a switch had been flipped, and we weren't playing horribly bad. It was, they'd get a couple rotations where their servers would get hot, and the score wasn't necessarily reflective of how competitive the sets were. And then that third set, I think we just finally looked at it and said, let's, we have nothing left to lose, right? Let's stop being so protective on our side and just truly go for it. And then we made a good run and had a good chance. But even at the end, in the fifth set, that was our best offensive set of the whole match. We were clean, we were efficient, and TCU just took their game to a different level. And so, that fifth set the score was 15-9, and you might look at it and say, oh, that wasn't a great set, but in reality, it was a good set for us. TCU just really took it a place that we hadn't seen from them up until then. And this is kind of life in the Big 12. We're still learning what that next level is for us, but when the other team takes it, we've got to respond. And I think we did a pretty darn good job of making a good match out of it and giving ourselves a chance.
Even with getting stuck in rotations and things like that, I mean, you guys have lost the first 2 sets in every Big 12 match now.
Yeah.
How do you kind of try to find a way to push through that and maybe improve so that way you don't get down to where you're having to come back in those situations?
Well, yeah, yes, our results are our results. I think a lot of this is still this idea of what we're establishing, how we're applying game plan, how we're managing individual moments, and we'll just keep getting better and better. We've talked about this before, how tough this conference is, where the level is, and I know from being around this team every day how much we're improving and where we're getting better and better. We're still trying to do it in the best conference in the country, and so for everybody outside of our group, they may not always see it, but we know that it's happening. And so I walked out of that locker room in Fort Worth on Friday really encouraged by what we did and how close we are, and I know the wins are coming for us.
One more thing on Simone. I mean, obviously you guys have had success through the portal. Is that somebody that you had kept an eye on throughout her career, or was it just name popped up in the portal, let's talk to her, or is that somebody you knew beforehand? No,
we really didn't. And we got back from Europe, and the portal was active at that time while we were gone, and so she came available, and we knew we had one more spot to fill. And we just had to wait for the portal to reopen, and she fits the mold of what we like. Really athletic, 6 rotation player. She can play either pin, good in all phases, and just someone that once we checked out the health piece and knew that she was ready to train again and could go full right from the beginning, then yeah, she was ready for us.
You mentioned you feel good about the way you're playing right now, and you're facing a new Big 12 team, and just happens to be a team that's sitting atop the Big 12 standings.
Yeah.
Can you look ahead to what you expect against them tomorrow night?
Yeah, really good offensive team, balanced, strong in the middle. They've got a really true go-to on the pin. They've got length, and they know how to win. They know what they're doing, and so yeah, they're going to be a handful in every way. Good serving team, the whole thing. So for us, we've got to do a better job with our first possession of a rally. We've got to be more terminal. We've been saying this from day one. This has been the one thing that really needs to show the biggest growth. And again, with the way that our team is made up, that's the part that that we knew going in was going to be a struggle for us on certain nights. And so once we get a rally started, our transition game is pretty good. Our block and defense have been really solid for us. It's really, can we take advantage of offensive opportunities and points a little bit sooner? And if we can get to that level, then I think we're going to be in pretty good shape.
After having a couple of the 2 matches against it, I mean, is there anything different for you guys other than having to prepare for 2 different schools in a short amount of time?
No, this week is going to be a challenge for sure, because we play on Wednesday and then we get right on a plane to go to Ames on Thursday. That match was scheduled for Saturday, but Iowa State needed to move it, so not much of a turnaround for us. As a coaching staff, we're okay with it because we know Iowa State pretty well. And it's easy to get there, and the travel piece will be okay. It's just the prep for the team and how they respond after what we expect will be a hard match tomorrow, and just physically, can we get bounced back and ready to go on Friday?
Kind of off of that, how do you deal with the schedule like this where, first 2 years of COVID, it was more the series, and then you went back to the old way, and now it's like this hybrid? Mm-hmm. How do you kind of balance that with this team where you're constantly having to do, I guess, different ways of preparation?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but I don't mind it. And, when we had like Kansas and TCU's week, it was nice because we could prepare for just one team, and we could have a day to train early in the week. And even though we were playing on short weeks, I felt good about the prep. This is a little bit different. We hadn't gone through this with this team yet, and so we'll see how we respond. But we're going to have to do this 3 or 4 times, so we'll get used to it pretty quick. But I'm okay with this. I like the schedule. I think this is the best of what we can make out of it, and we're going to do this again next year. So I think we'll be fine.